Welcome to homework.
Is an externality. So let's assume that we have a standard supply and demand graph. So we have the supply of the firm here and the demand of the market here. On this axis, we have the quantity, and over here we have the price. So these are standard curves. And normally, when we have the cost of production, it's all factored into the supply curve, and that's basically for most industries. However, there are some times where there is there is an additional cost incurred not by a third party that was not part of the transaction. So what does that mean? Let's say we have a company that's polluting a river. That the pollution of the river doesn't affect the company or the buyer of the product. However, it does affect society as a whole, and it does incur a cost. And so that's an additional cost, and that additional cost of the product is per unit of the product. Now that's important, and so that additional cost could be represented as a increase in the price of the additional cost of the product. And so this is the supply plus the additional cost. And this shift is called an externality. This is an example of a negative externality, and that's what this chapter will be focusing on. However, there's also positive externalities. So let's say there's a product such as insulin. Insulin is an example of a positive externality because it's an additional benefit per unit of the good. So every unit of insulin that's sold has a great social benefit, and so we can do that. That's a supply plus the social benefit. We can also call that additional cost the social cost, so the SC, social cost. And that's basically what an externality is. They can be positive or negative, and they represent a change in the supply curve based on their marginal benefit for society.